Dan.
Hey, Rick.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
The booth looks great.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I know you're slammed, but I was hoping we could grab you for a couple minutes, talk some trends over here.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Would you all excuse us for just a second, please? Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Rick. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Dan, thank you. It's our pleasure.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
How's the show going for you guys so far?
This is a very high quality show for us. It gives us the ability to talk about the topic that's near and dear to our heart, which is the intersection of security information, event management, and privileged access control.
Now, Rick, the insider threat still remains a major pain point for organizations, obviously, especially when you consider how much the perimeter has expanded and there's a lot of third parties, partners, contractors involved in wanting access to the network. Talk about that, the insider threat as it is today.
Well, you know, it's trusted insiders that may not be trusted in the future. It could be contractors that used to have access to the network that weren't deprovisioned properly. And it could be malicious folks from the outside that somehow gained credentials, like through the APT, to get access to sensitive data on the inside. Our clients find that it's really, really important for them, not that they don't trust their employees, but trust but verify. So I think IT folks have come to the conclusion that it's okay for the business to monitor what they're doing, because what they're doing is so critical to the business. And since the business side, or the finance, the business chief compliance side of the business is now taking more responsibility through regulations for the business, it's a natural evolution of IT being more responsive to the business side. The business side wants to know what they're doing, whether they're insiders or outsiders. And it's technologies such as ours and others that allow them to monitor, control, and audit what's being happening.
You have quite a bit of background in government military operations. When I think of some of the attacks on the government, I think of some of these nation-state adversaries who are coming in, the espionage efforts meant to pilfer some intellectual property. How does privileged access play into those sort of attacks?
Well, it's interesting because all of them, their goal seems to be to get access to privileged accounts so they can get access to the underlying sensitive data.
So that's the key.
That's the key. Technologies such as ours that could provide a proxy control point for all privileged access really mitigate that risk. So the ability for a technology to control access for all privileged users across all the silos in the data center, server, database, critical network device, really mitigates the risk of being able to implant malware or set up shop, if you will, inside to snoop for that information.
Let's discuss how the space that you're in has matured. You mentioned to me off camera that there's really an intersection now between identity and access management and SIM technologies sort of all merging together in light of the current attack landscape. Why has it gotten to that point where we've seen that?
That's a great question. You know, for a couple of years, we've assumed that because where we sit in the data center is such a critical security layer, things don't happen in silos. There's a lot of information in the enterprise. The ability to aggregate that information through technologies such as SIM, or certify or attest to that information through technologies like EGRC, access certification, access control. We've always thought that the ability for us to share our information with higher order instrumentation, like SIM, EGRC, and even BI apps, is critical. Because if it's just in silos, or if it's just in a data warehouse, it's information. To be able to turn that information into actionable intelligence is what clients need today to be more proactive versus reactive in their security environment. It's interesting that both Gartner and also yesterday, Tom Riley in his opening keynote from HP ArcSight, both are saying the same thing. Identity intelligence and security intelligence is key. And security intelligence isn't any one technology. It's the intersection of, or the integration of those technologies that moves an organization from reactive to proactive, that gives them the capability to be more earlier anomaly detection, and to be able to provide better audit trail, advanced forensic audit.
Let's drill down to one more specific sector, being healthcare. Obviously, healthcare deals with a lot of insider problems. We've seen quite a bit of news coming out of various healthcare facilities in which employees have snooped into some patient records that they should not have. Why is that sector facing so many challenges when it comes to this, and what are some best practices that they can implement to help mitigate it?
Well, if you ask me, I think the reason why they've had problems is for the last 20 years, technology has been underinvested in healthcare. I know a lot of healthcare hospitals, not so much on the payer, but on the provider side, they've been woefully uninvested in IT. I think with the advance of HIPAA And now the new healthcare regulation that creates electronic healthcare records and mandates electronic healthcare records, I think both payers and providers have gotten real serious about not only creating these electronic bits and bytes of who we are and what our health history is, but safeguarding both the PII, the personally identifiable information, as well as the actual healthcare record itself. It's not an option anymore. They have to do it. So there's a lot of dollars being spent in healthcare. And even at the small physician level, I know our physician uses a pad device instead of an old-fashioned terminal, and don't even have paper files anymore. It's all EHR, electronic healthcare.
Hey Rick, thanks so much for joining us today. Really great stuff, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the show.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.